They're all against me.
You feel like you're in Karachi when you're in the class, huh?
I feel like what, sorry?
You feel like you're in Karachi.
Yeah. Well, they're all against me, I'm telling you.
Have they threatened you or looked dirty in your way? Have they threatened your friends? I don't know. Are there a lot of British people in your university?
There are some British people in university, but well, I used to go to another university in Leeds. They were all English people, but well, obviously I've changed my university, and because of the subject that I really liked, and they are so famous on physiotherapy. That's why I changed my subject and I went there. Well, at first I didn't mind to go to this university because I was thinking, okay, it's just 3 years, I'll finish it up soon. But as these protests started, after 3 weeks, I started speaking about it in university in front of others. And I said what's been going on. I've been talking about Khamenei. But I said, who's this guy? I've explained everything like for 5 minutes. And then after they were just shaking their heads and they said, yeah, we know what you mean. But they were like thinking, yeah, obviously she's against Islam. Well, as much as I mentioned, no, we are here to tell you we are not against Islam. It's just the IGCs, and I've been just explaining everything. And then they were absolutely fine with it. They were absolutely fine with my speech. But as soon as Khamenei's dead, they started being against me, and they don't even say hello. Well, this is the situation.
Oh, these fuckers. How these animals are even in an education system in university. Oh my God.
And apart from that, well, obviously some Arabic ones are there as well. It was one Syrian and one Palestinian. They had my Instagram. When I started talking about like Khamenei and stuff like this, before that, I was talking about, well, those people who has been, I said, okay, so Bashar Assad has never killed this much people in 2 days. And I said, okay, so static that came up, and I have mentioned on my story. And then she has replied, the Syrian one has replied to my story, and then she started saying, oh, you're exaggerating, it's not that much people have been killed, blah, 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 blah. And then I said, mind your own business and try to respect yourself, because you're not the one who's talking about this situation. I'm Iranian, I know what's been going on. And after that, the day after, she stopped talking to me. But we were friends. We were literally friends. And the same happened with other Palestinian. Well, we were such a good friends together, and like even when the the massacre happened, she was like, "Oh, I'll come to you to protest together. Like, I'll totally support you. We've been in the same situation before. We know, we understand you." And then as soon as Khamenei been killed, she was absolutely different. She just turned. Yeah, well, they don't understand. I don't expect them.
But fuck these people. I'm sorry to tell it like it is, but I lost a friend like 8. I have been friends with this person for 8 years. She was a very nice girl from a nice family. She was what's called moderate Muslim from Bangladesh, but she had a heart of. But how I saw she selectively focus. Like they have this selective activism, I would call it, and they're not real activists. They're just pretending to be because it's so much easier to be a lion online than lion in real life. And she was saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry." How she didn't say nothing about the massacre, but the war started. She was always like, they come from a place of well-being, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Are your parents safe? I hope you are safe and everything." She said nothing about the massacre. And when I explained the situation about the massacre and about how real we were like feeling, like saying that people seeing it as a bombing of the IRGC and the regime, not the Iranian people. And she didn't focus on it. I felt that my words had affected her, but then 5 minutes post, I don't know, Instagram story about Palestine. And Palestine was not even in question at this moment. It was like, what the fuck? And it was such a disrespect because after all my explanations, I took time from my precious schedule, which is so busy at the moment. I mean, not at the moment because it's Easter and it's holidays and everything, but I have been active on Clubhouse and I spend at least 8 hours on Twitter. And even when I'm on Clubhouse, I'm on Twitter. So it's kind of precious time for me. I could have spent that 35 minutes on a Twitter or posted the tweet or something. Yeah. And she did this, and she disrespected me, and she was so dismissive. She was trying to sound very empathetic, but she was not. And oh my God, I had to block her out of my love. It was an 8-year friendship, and I felt nothing. I'm sociopathic, or maybe patriotic. I'm not sure. I love my country more. I respect and love my people more than these fuckers. So even though
there were so many people in Clubhouse as well that they were our friends, and as soon as these things happened, they just turned their face. They totally changed, and it was one of them. She was my friend, and then I had some sense of that being with IRGC, because she mentioned that I'm against them, but at the same time she was like, no, Pahlavi is not my choice, and that started in 12 days law in June, and well, in that time she said that she is against Pahlavi, and he was saying those worst thing about him, and then I had that sense that, oh, okay, so I need to be careful with her. And then obviously after all this started, at first I was like, why is she posting a story like this? None of them are making sense. And I said, okay, let's just not blocking her and see what's going on. What is she thinking about? And then as soon as Khamenei been killed, as soon as all this massacre happened, she has never ever mentioned about any of the children being killed. Instead, she was just waiting for something happen from Trump, something happened from Israel. And then she started a story against them and say Trump is like this, and she is living in America. How on earth you are living in America and you are against Trump and telling him that he's wrong? I don't really understand. You've got a green card. You're living in a safe place and you're supporting IRGC. I don't understand this.
Getting deported or something if she is not very permanently living there, because these people can be danger if you're supporting RGC, which is a terrorist group. It's like supporting Hezbollah and getting away with it. They're terrorist supporters. They should not be murdered.
That is my question too. And you know what happened? And then we replied to our stories, me and my friends, and they said, "What are you doing exactly? You're living in America and you're supporting terrorist people."
Goes beyond selfish or useful it is. These
Why
people.
don't you talk about the protesters? Why don't you talk about the execution people? Why? And you're supporting them. This is my question. And then your story about Mina the school, and you don't even think about it.
She's the benefactor of the regime. Maybe she has people inside the regime. I mean, a lot of people, especially in America, I mean, look at the normal Iranians. They're having issues with their visas at the moment in America. And there are a lot of good, there are very hardworking Iranian people that focus on their businesses and they attend the protests, like when our crown prince says something and when he's calling people on the streets, they will go and participate. And they do this, I'm sorry for saying it, like, it's
Mina the school children. Why don't you speak up about the other protesters? Why? And well, why should I say why? Well, they're obviously connected, and this is ridiculous, honestly.
personal thing is that some of these idiots, I mean, since a lot of these passenger fuckers have been killed, a lot of idiots have taken over certain accounts. You can see it from the change of tone, like the sentences they're using. Some of them are even using ChatGPT, and they have forgotten to, they usually forget to delete that long dash that ChatGPT says.
Even though, I don't know if you've noticed, also they're coming up in here, and like it seems like that they have a note on their hand and they started talking about it. Like this, they read that notes.
It's so heart wrenching. Like, it's not as gruesome as the ones that we had in January, but it's just equally so. Like,
well, it reminded me. Yeah, that reminded me years ago when they have killed one of these pastor. I don't know if you have heard about it. One of the Iranian pastor. Yeah, it's just reminded me that one when I was 8 years old. Yeah, I remember I was a child and they have killed him. And my uncle were talking about it. We used to go to the church in Tehran. There are so many stories. We can talk forever.
These accounts come here and they don't focus on their own country, but that's why I'm saying that they're paid. They're paid bots, and some of them are real actually. I don't know if they're useful idiots, but there are some big accounts on useful idiots. Yesterday I was talking to this guy. This guy in an Iranian room. I don't know if you were there or not. He's called Nizam Rafi. Was this fucker? I don't know him, but it turned out that he was actually working for the regime. Like there's this institute of benefits, national benefits of the Islamic Republic of Iran in America, which is, I don't know, these titles, these institutes or something. He was a spokesperson there, and he was talking about infrastructures. Like, we Iranians who are active on Twitter, we are very sensitive about the word infrastructure, because whenever there is a fucker using it, they are juicing off this. They're using the MENA schoolgirl, like, I don't know, schoolgirls, and they're using infrastructure, and they're nowadays are trying to use emotions, like,
Yeah.
try to create sub stories to have a high moral high ground or something. But yeah, we are seeing right through them. I don't know, but if I were you, I would have really taken a note about the information on your friend, because that fucker can actually be dangerous to Americans and also Iranians. He can be one of those agents who sell out people's data, like in America, going to the protests, writing down names.
She never showed herself up, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, she never did. And then as soon as he did, she started showing up. And also, I blocked her like 4 weeks ago. And my other friends, they were still, checking her stories. And then one of them said, like, now she's showing her up.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, they have tried to ruin the emoji watermelon for me. They're putting it on their TikTok accounts. Oh, my TikTok is the worst. Like, when you go there, a lot of them are either very young or an adult, old-ass liberals who pretend to be young. I mean, these people are full of, I don't know, unfulfillments. Like, they have an unfulfilled life. They don't have a very fulfilling job. They pretending to be young on TikTok. They're using filters. They just want to fit in. It's like they have this, I don't know, fantasy of a high school in America on TikTok. They have this like fantasy.
their children, they have born in Iran, and then they came in here when they were like 3 or 4 years old, and then they're just they're supporting Free Palestine, as simply as that. They're supporting them, and then when you're talking to them, they don't even listen. They don't listen, and they're like, oh, you don't know about the children that they've been killed. They have no life. We should bring them over in West. And like they're saying all this shitty stuff. And like, how many children do you want to bring in West? How many of them? Well, it needs to be some change.
I'm in
I
Germany.
have no idea about Hamas here.
Yeah, we are in Germany at the moment, and we have been. It's sometimes it's very interesting because when I'm talking to the older generation. It's like the older generations, they know what we're talking about. They're still in working place, like they're still working. They know about the history, what happened. But the younger generation are so lazy.
Yeah.
My classmates, they are so lazy. Like they don't study for a test that much. They're using ChatGPT for their
Are you in Germany?
Yeah, and
oh right.
I'm telling you, the newer generation is going to fuck over Germany, and the old generations are the ones that are sticking like all this together.
Although they still know the Holocaust, they know.
Yeah,
they're still so emotional about Holocaust. They are.
Actually, there is this. Do you know the horseshoe effect? Like there is this effect called horseshoe. Like the two sides of the horseshoe how they can come close to each other even though they're on different sides. So. The horseshoe effect people. Like they're so further away from each other, but there's this because of the horseshoe effect, their ideologies and their opinions can become the same. Like you expect the anti-Semites not exist in Iceland, but they do. And what they have in common with the very far, like left-wing people in Germany is that they are anti-Semites. They're saying free Palestine, but what they actually are, they're anti-Semites. They don't like Jewish people, and some of them are actually Nazis. They're shy Nazis, I would say.
Yeah.
And it has become more popular. They call them Letterkops or the letterhead or something like this. Letterkops are they're becoming popular in poorer places like I would say East Germany. There are a lot of poor people living there. Past recent years, especially after Free Palestine and Qataris, money actually flowing, like flooding the whole Europe and the whole America. These activists, these welfare seekers who do nothing but sitting on their asses, they're getting these funds, and they're saying the same thing, like Free Palestine, and we have a high, like moral high ground or something, and they hide behind this Free Palestine movement. They're saying we're doing good, we are anti-immigrants, we don't like Jew supporters, and it's such a mind fuck.
What is your reason for not being Jew supporters? I don't really understand this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the older generations, they're usually centrists. They're not that left wing or right wing. They have a nice idea what conference, and a certain person called Free Palestine or something, and he mentioned that if you think that Palestine should be free, you should tell Hamas to lay down their weapons. We are tired of this bullshit, and Merz took a lot of heat for it. I mean, he's an asshole, but he was right about this one. Like, if you're afraid of the Palestinian lives, you should ask to lay down their arms, to lay down their weapons. This is how the wars end. And they should accept the peace deal. Like, they have offered the peace deal more than 7 times, and all the times Palestinian side rejected it. If they care about their people, they would have taken it. But they don't. They're like RGC. They don't take peace deals, and they love martyrs. They love dead people, using them as currencies and sub stories for their narratives. And in Germany, the older generation understand that. The younger ones are lazy. They're using ChatGPT, and everybody who uses ChatGPT knows ChatGPT. And these people are using ChatGPT, so I would say it's a weapon of mass, I don't know, brainwashing or brain control or something. Yeah.
Frank's is here. I think he wants to talk.
Yeah. Go on, Frank.
I have 2 buddies, 2 very close friends of mine right now that are fighting in this war, and they're currently, well, they're not in Iran. They're in another country, but they are in the Middle East about the attack Iran. So this war is, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's not necessary, but what you were saying, I agree with it, because a bunch of young people now are using ChatGPT, and there's a weird trend going around where they're just like converting to Islam, and it's such a weird thing because they don't even fully practice it. They don't pray. Almost follow towards it, to not be a part of something they feel like is somewhat oppressive. So there's a big thing going on. And even the Jew, I live in New Jersey. There's a lot of Jews here in New Jersey. And anytime when they argue, combat them, they just look at them. The Jews don't argue. The Jews don't say nothing. They just look at everything. They just had a bonfire not even that long ago. I think it was just a passing that the Jews call it. They call it passing, where they put like a whole bunch of things in a bonfire. And it was in New York. Anybody that asked them, they didn't look at them. The kids would laugh at them and they would just stare along or just record. It's a big thing now. And even, not even that while ago, I think it was 2 days ago, a bunch of Jewish people, Jewish men actually, specifically, Jewish men were invading a Palestinian store and they broke it up. Like they
a certain hadith that come with it and everything. And the difference between Shia and Sunni. So we Iranians know what we are talking about. And a lot of us are ex-Muslims, and everybody who's an ex-Muslim knows that it's so hard to lose your faith. You go through so many stages to lose it, and usually try to study what you're about to lose better. And you read about it, you study it better, you see it in real life. It's the lived experience of us. We know what we're talking about. We have seen the ummah, they call it. Ummah basically means like community or something, like ummah, something like that. But they don't care that these people are not practicing Islam, especially the white men joining in. They call them white men. We are not, but they're calling the white men, Western men, joining in. They just want soldiers. Like they want a propaganda. They have a use for them. This is what I mean. I don't know. Indonesia has the highest amount of Muslims in the world, 256, I believe. There's so many of them there. Even them, they're viewing Western countries as evil, like the big Satan they call America. While America can have very controversial things done in the history and everything, I don't think they're the biggest evil in the world. I believe some of your presidents actually were the biggest evils, like Carter or something. They have fucked up the world, but you have had some good presidents as well. We don't like them, but they have been very good to the world, like Trump. Trump is a very controversial man. He can be very womanizer. Some people say that, he's a narcissist, definitely. But he has been good for Iran. For Iranian people, has been good. We have a common purpose. And I kind of find him funny. He's funny. I laugh. I cannot laugh. And can argue very well.
Is trying to indoctrinate lands that they be on and then claiming that it's peaceful. But then when you actually hear them and hear a lot of people that talk about it, they actually want to just push a lot of their viewpoints into another country, almost turning it as to in one of their countries in the Middle East. They're doing that in the UK. I see a lot of Muslims in the UK. They talk about how they're taking over and everybody will be Muslim because that's their vision or something. I don't like the sound of that. It sounds like they're very sneaky, but then if anyone says anything about it, then they're anti-Muslim MAGA people, and you have the people in the middle that just don't care. Then you have the extremist Christians. Like America's such a melting pot. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to try to indoctrinate it because we already have others trying to indoctrinate it.
Maybe I'll say these fuckers, sociopaths and psychopaths can respect power. And unfortunately, in a world filled with violence, one of the most powerful things you can have is a sharp mind. Sharp mind can be silenced with guns. So we can come to the conclusion that guns can carry power. And you have the right to do that, so that's why they're very careful not to fuck with you guys. Like if they come to your houses uninvited, and they're saying, oh, you should respect us, they try to rape your girls, you can, shoot it for self-defense. You have the right to do that. So these fuckers are very careful with you. But in Europe, it's not like that. Europeans can be silenced by labels, like you can call them Islamophobic, oh, you're a racist. You can silence them like that. They have become very soft, and this is very dangerous for their countries. Look at France. You're talking about UK. UK has been, they have a lot of French media outlets, so that's why we don't see a lot of footage there as much as UK. The footage you see from the UK, we France. But if you go to France, if you go to the biggest, one of the most famous city of France, like Marseille or Paris, it has changed forever. Like the Paris I visited 2 years ago is not the same one I visited 15 years ago when I was a teenager. I went there with my family. It was kind of nice. There were certain neighborhoods that were unsafe. But if you go there now, it's filled with garbage. Like the city state, like it was a shitty place. I would say it looked like a third world country. It is a nice city. The Louvre is very beautiful, the museum, but they burned out like a lot of cathedrals. I don't know if you know that, but 2 days ago, in one of the biggest cities of like France, they burned down the church before
they're now mosques. So when, a lot of Americans see that, they kind of have some resentment towards them because it's like they're almost removing their values and importing their own values. So I see the frustration most definitely over here because it's like they're secretly attacking you without attacking you, and it's a big issue because America now protects Jews, and I see that now. America protects the Jews more than the Muslims, though. But even though we're so free, the Muslims get to say whatever they want and almost try to indoctrinate these people. So it's like the Muslims are on the left while the Jews are on the right. And then they fall in these political parties. So it is very weird because you see like the Democrats supporting Muslims and trying to get on the Muslims' good side, and the Republicans trying to get on the Jewish good side. So it's
saying that there are two gangs and saying that we are caught in the middle.
Yeah, because why come to this country? Why come to this country if you're not going to actually be a part of it? It's almost like you want to implement your own culture here. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with exercising and having your culture here. I do it too. I'm Puerto Rican. I love to celebrate my culture. But at the same time, I'm also American. So I also appreciate American values. These people don't. They're trying to tear down American values. They're trying to tear down the system that we built for years under Christian values to where now it's almost a disrespect.
Yeah, exactly. But what I wanted to focus on was the Jewish gang. There are not a lot of them to create a gang. And usually when they go to a country, they assimilate very well with that country. Like in Germany, there have been also a lot of them in Iraq. They're welcome. And I mean, they have been banished by a lot of, like, especially Muslim countries, especially after Crusades and everything. But it's like, but if you compare these two together, I would say the more damaging gang, as you call it, is the Muslim part, not the Jewish part. I would say Jewish people are usually silent and they try not to do shit that much unless they're provoked. I mean, they have a thing called "we never forgive and forget." Their abusers are never forgiven and forgotten. This is how they have survived after all these centuries. So yeah, I think you should be more afraid of the Muslim part than the Jewish part.
Mary, I've got a question for you. Mary, I have a question for you. When do you think Iranian people will rise up against the regime?
They have already done it, and if they do it again, at the moment till their agenda list is all the items on the agenda list is completed. So your military purposes targets should be completed.
Oh, yeah.
Then we can move on to the next phase.
Oh, yeah. But I'm pretty sure Israeli soldiers are fighting with Americans, like the troops, at least. Actually, no. No, I'm lying. They're not. I just read something that said that the Jews would not actually be giving soldiers, like putting soldiers around those countries around Iran. They're actually just going to be giving them air support. So that's cool, I guess. It's not a good solution. If we want to like have some, everybody just in America, once a year we should have a purge.
I mean, if the majority of you become Muslims, that can be very dangerous for you because those guys, I would say extremists mostly, but I mean, the difference between a moderate Muslim and an extremist Muslim is that the moderate will tell if you do that, Allah will kill you, but the extremist will kill you himself. So if the majority of you, like in France at the moment, become Muslims, you're in danger if there is a purge.
No, but here in America, if there's a purge, Americans themselves are happy. All just using their guns. Maybe not the Jewish. I don't know if they own guns like Americans do, but Americans own guns. We all own guns. To where if there were to be some, I don't know, I think a lot of Muslims will probably stay in to be protected from it. But I think the first thing that would happen is, with all due respect, I think the first thing that will happen is mosques would be burned. I do see that. Because the people that participate, if you watch the movies, the people that participate in the purge more than anybody, they are extremists. Extreme Christians, extreme Muslims, extreme Israelis. All extremists participate in the purge to where they damn near almost kill each other out.
Back to them and something. I was looking for a very American video. A guy in an underwear, like swinging this baseball bat, was chasing after the thief. This was very American, and this guy was laughing, and the thief was very, I would say, unnerved. It was very funny. I was looking for a video to post in the chats, and I don't know if you've seen it already or not. It went viral years ago. It was so American. Like, it's one of the funniest American things. Like the right to self-defense and to protect your home. It's so funny. I tried to find it and put it in the chat. Okay, guys, I found it. I sent it here. There's this YouTube video of a guy. It's called A Shirtless Man Confronts the Seattle Thieves with Baseball Bat. And this guy is a maniac. The thieves tried to rob him. I think it's burglary, if I'm not mistaken, the term. And this guy chased him. He's in Seattle, and it's very cold, but he goes out in nothing but his underwear, and he's laughing at the thief. He's like, yeah. And he has this baseball bat, and it went viral. It's so funny. Like, it's one of the most American things I've ever